What's going on, everybody? It's your friend Will. We're back at it. It's the memory lapse. Sorry for the sort of absence over the weekend. I know I got one video out, a delayed video out on Saturday, but took a little weekend trip. But I'm here to make it up to you, and we are going to test out one of the most winningest decks in Standard from the Pro Tour, 3-color Fog. So this deck was piloted by Dave Williams, if you know him, the Magic Pro or Magic Semi-Pro turned Poker Pro, turned now occasional Magic player again. He qualified for the Pro Tour. I forget how he qualified. Maybe he's in the Hall of Fame, but he's in the Pro Tour and teamed up with Gabe Nassif, and I guess worked with Mark Herbalholt to craft this deck, and absolutely crushed everyone. So I think here we have a keep. I mean, I have not played with this at all, but I'm inclined to keep, because we have a tap land into colors. So I've been excited to play with this. This is definitely a do-nothing deck, my style of deck. We'll see if it makes for decent content. I doubt it will, but we're going to go for it. So if you're not familiar with this archetype, Turbo Fog, it's been around for a while. I think it, I'd have to look at what the historical deck for it, like the first iteration of Turbo Fog was, but it's essentially a form of control that overloads the opponent with fogs. And so they took the fog, interesting. Uses the fogs to, let's see what we draw here, to just stall the game for as long as possible, essentially using fogs as time walks, and then you get to just win the game with like whatever your win condition of choice is. And fogs happen to work really nicely with planeswalkers, so this deck wins with Karn and Teferi. It looks like on this turn we might just play the Scattered Grove and search for Azcanta. Yeah, I think I like that. So they're playing Grixis. So interestingly, like no Grixis decks made the top 4. It was a Team Pro Tour, so you know only 4 standard decks made it to the top 4. So I haven't looked at, they haven't published what like the next kind of 5th through 8th were, but no Nicol Bolas decks made the top 4. Let's see. Right here. Can we take this? I think we can take it and just like slam it this turn. Oh, maybe this is bad. I guess this could have eaten. This will probably eat a removal spell here, so we'll plus. Hopefully hit a land that they'll give us for the next turn. Cool. So Teferi obviously works really, really well with something like Root Snare. I get to play Teferi, plus it, untap 2, and then if they try to attack Teferi, just fog them. Keep the Teferi in play. So the other deck that we might play this week is the blue-white deck that actually won the Pro Tour, beating up on all the red decks on the way. That was pretty cool to see. So we want land here. And we got it. Let's take our Teferi. Hopefully this doesn't get countered. I think that they don't really play a lot of main deck counter spells. Okay. Untap 2. So we're basically just going to play it like Super Friends here, but we have these fogs to help us out. Let them declare their attackers. They'll probably like send 1 at Karn and 2 at me or 2 at Teferi. Cool, and then we'll prevent all combat damage. So it'll be dealt this turn. Teferi survives. I guess we're gonna graveyard that. We do want to get to that's a good draw. Plus Karn. So Nexus of Fate is obviously one of the ways that we win here. I guess we'll gift. Gives up the island, just in case they have land destruction. And we get to untap our gifted land, which is a nice interaction, very cute. So from this point on, if they don't have counter spells, we're in a really good position. So we're probably just going to keep hitting fogs. Alright, our opponent's just is done with that game. So I think more or less that's what the deck does. You're probably going to win a lot more games off of your opponent just like rage quitting than you are so I think we're going to, let's see, so here's a good question, is how do you sideboard with this deck? So I could see wanting to bring in the negates here. Maybe we don't actually. I think probably the stuff is for like blue-white control. You take out your fogs that don't do anything. So against them, maybe we want Cleansing Nova. Yeah, actually I don't think we sideboard at all. This deck is probably more or less pre-sideboarded for a matchup like this. So I could see going 2 Baral, 2 Jace's Defeat, 4 Negates for the 8 Fogs against something like blue-white control or blue-black control with a lot of counters. And then you just play it like a Planeswalker control deck, but you have Time Walks. Cool. This is a fairly easy keep. If we draw lands, we're golden. What is going on in this picture? Guess we're just gonna play another farmland here. We're not going to play the Haze yet. And we also want to make sure we hit our 3rd, 4th, and 5th untapped land drops so we can chain up into Teferi here. Scavenging Grounds, interesting. They're obviously going to get to draw off these Siphoners for a while, which is a little scary. So if we can stick Teferi plus and then Haze and then untap and play Karn's Temporal Sundering, that would be great. But looks like we're going to get dressed here. Wonder which one they'll take. Honestly, you could probably make an argument for any one of these cards, but if I'm them, I'm taking the Teferi here. Oh, they took the Haze. Interesting. So that maybe makes me think they have a Negate. Nope, just another Siphoner. Jeez. So that makes our Karn a lot worse here. I think we still have to play it. Just in the chance that they send 6 damage at him. Two lands is not what we want to see. That's what we get. Well, this means that we're not like permanently exiling anything when they kill the Karn here, at least. They're stuck on 3 lands, so our dream draw here is any fog, so that we can protect this Teferi for a turn. And we also want them to tap out so they don't have a... So we don't have to like worry about casting this into a Negate or a Jace's defeat, which they could certainly have sided in. Alright, YOLO. I don't think we're going to win this game without playing this right now. And it's countered. Well, we didn't side in our Wraths. Wrath would be great here. We still have 2 draw steps. Glacial Fortress. So we'll Glimmer on their turn. This is great for us. Although it probably means they have something good in their hand, like, but Glimmer on their turn, try to find a fog, prevent some damage. There you get to draw so much off these Siphoners. Triple Siphoner draw is pretty unreal. Pretty good. These don't even have to do damage to build up the energy it triggers on attacking, right? Yeah. Whoa. Now, this is a bottom. Neither of those help us. It's a land, huh? That's pretty rough. Oh, we'll get the cycle of Scattered Groves here. Yeah, we have plenty of options for discards. I know they've seen one of these forests, I don't know which one. Still no indicator for that. Alright, so it looks like this will get to stick. If they counter the pollen, we lose. No way around that. There's maybe even an argument to hazing here before they draw all these cards. Yep. So I'm pretty certain this is just going to get countered, but unwound. Oh, we lose. A little flooded there. A little flooded and a little triple glint sleeve siphonered, but if that had resolved, probably a good chance that we could win. I don't know if it's worth bringing in these cleansing novas. But against draws like that, like, I think we need to be able to clear the board. Secrets of the Golden City seems kind of cuttable, but it's also, I think, really important for when you're trying to chain, like when you have a lot of mana in play and you're trying to chain together time walks. So maybe you cut like one chart. One. Karn. We always cut 2 charts. It's not even an instant. Alright. We have turn 2 Azcanta, so I'm definitely going to keep this. They can get us with a turn 1 duress here. But most likely their first land's going to come into play tapped. Yep. Cool. Okay. We can get that back with Mirari Conjecture later, the one of. Ooh. I have a much slower start here. Feels good. Yeah, probably siding out charts was wrong, because it does also help us. Yeah, we need land. Like, I think we need land so bad that we should even be cycling this. Especially against this draw. So let's get rid of a Glimmer. I think we're happy to just Nova this here. It gives us now a sorcery, like another sorcery option to buy back with Mirari Conjecture, which I'm pretty certain we're just going to slam next turn and get back a Fog. Cleansing Nova has a nice... Ooh, that sucks. Probably they take Conjecture here, right? They can't possibly let me resolve this. Graveyard, transform, we want the land. Cool. Okay, I think we're just going to go for like an end of turn Glimmer here. Hope they don't have like more hand disruption. Okay. Oh, so much for that. Let's Glimmer now. Nice. Blue, blue, white, white, green, green. We're pretty set on all our colors, so it doesn't really matter what we get. They're only doing 1 to us a turn, so we're really under no pressure. We gift up the island to prevent it from being Field of Ruined. Wow, they want to unwind the gift. Okay. Don't know about that one. I think we want them to just draw like a Scarab God or a Nicol Bolas here, play it, and then we get to Cleansing Nova and get our Conjecture back. They're getting close to flashing back Champion of Witch, which is a little annoying. Cool. Okay. No need to cycle Haze of Pollen here yet. Yeah, probably actually better to do this. Cool. Even better, we find a land, so we have double fog back up in case they have a counter spell. So they might upkeep, bring back Champion of Wits here, which I think is good for us. I think that's what they, oh, well, what's the worst they can do? They can bring back Nicol Bolas? Okay. Oh, no, they brought back Champion. That's great. Bloodfast, interesting. They do their scry, draw for the turn. And I expect they'll like more or less just move straight to their combat step. They don't have a blue up for to counter this fog, so we just get a free fog here. They have to know it's coming, and we'll happily fog to protect. Play the one that doesn't cycle. Happily fog to protect Teferi. Ooh. That's a little scary, because now they could... let's see what they take. I guess they have to take the Cleansing Nova. It doesn't really matter what they take. Because if they take Cleansing Nova, we get to just play Karn's Temporal Sundering here. Yep. Bounce their thing. I take the turn. Bounce this freebooter. Get the Wrath back. And turn. Oh, it still makes me do all this nonsense. Double end turn. Plus Teferi. Up to 7 now. Glacial Fortress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess we just take another turn. Shuffle that back in. Untap, untap. Plus Teferi. Scattered Groves. Cleansing Nova. Destroy all creatures. Get our Conjecture back. Resolve that trigger. Get our search down. We get to Emblem Teferi next turn. So they get to replay this freebooter and see our hand. The issue is it doesn't help them get Teferi off the board. They'd have like Vrask's Contempt here. And they do. So unfortunately, Root Snare does not help against that. But we get to flip our Azcanta. Yep. So I imagine they'll take the Conjecture again, because that would just be really, really good right now. Okay. Library, transform, draw. Gift. I guess we'll hold it in case we want to discard to like a Nicol Bolas or something. I'll also Root Snare for the turn. I don't want to lose any loyalty. But now we get to see a lot of cards. Yep, this is fine. A card we absolutely don't care about. Yet. Alright. So do we have enough to do this? We do, right? So we take another turn. Shuffle it in. Done. Activate. Take Root Snare. We don't get to do it again this turn. Let's pay for this correctly, more or less. Oh, Nexus of Fate. This looks like a good one. Can activate this again. Gift of Paradise. Untap. plus Teferi. This plays pretty quickly, surprisingly. Nexus of Fate looks like a good one. I think we want to put it back in the deck before we activate Search to give us a higher chance of hitting it. Alright, yeah, so we demonstrated the lock more or less. We were about to ult Teferi. We would have then played a new Teferi, which means we get to exile 2 things per turn. We're eventually going to get back all the stuff that's with the freebooters and kill them. We'd find Karn eventually and kill them with Karn, or this happens. So that was a pretty fun one for me. I don't know if it was very fun for the opponent. We played 40 lands over 3 games. That's crazy. And we cleared our other quest. This deck's not going to help us with the cast 40 creature spells quest, which we might have to table for a few days. I definitely want to keep it because it's worth 750 gold, which is a ton. But that being said, that was just like a fun testing session for that deck, and that's the matchup I think that more or less between that and Red Black that they were the reason they brought this deck. Like you saw in especially Game 3 how disrupted we were there. And I do think that bringing in the Wrath was correct. Those were very good. But through all the disruption, we were still able to win that third game fairly handily. Game 2 was a little bit of an oddball because they drew triple of the Siphoners. But anyways, that's 30 minutes. Probably going to be hard to do more than one set of games per video and keep these reasonable. But hope you enjoyed it. Definitely a deck we're going to play with more because it seems really kooky and fun. So yeah, stay tuned.